Hello guys, welcome to another episode of Clues, Cues and Reviews, and today we're reviewing Bleach number 663. Thunder God part number 4, which essentially just focuses on Yoruichi, her lovely transformation, and the battle with Askin. So a relatively straightforward chapter. We get a few more twists as we always do, we get some transformations, and not just talking about Yoruichi. So without further ado, just to kind of summarize the chapter here and now, pretty straightforward chapter. 5 points will be covered in this review, and as always, if you haven't already subscribed, please subscribe. I will leave a comment. I will leave a link in the comment section below, or the description, as well as a link to my playlist, so please check that out if you can. Let's get on to the review. So point number 1, Yoruichi is pretty much for all intents and purposes a cat. Her actual form is called Raiju Senkai, which roughly translates to Thunder Beast Battle Form. I say all intents and purposes she's a cat. She pretty much does not respond to any English, and she's kind of lost all that sense completely. So effectively she's a cat, a thunder cat of all things, and she's in battle form. So a very interesting point, but the fact that she's had to give up something for something else I found interesting. Kind of reminded me of way back when Eisen had Wondervice, who gave up the thought of speech, and it became really simple, but in return for he actually got given some crazy power, which he was used against Yamamoto. So an interesting point to bear in mind, and just a bit of reflection there with point number 1. Point number 2, an interesting point made by the genius that is in Bleach. And he notices, and he actually kind of says that basically, I can appreciate and he's talking to Askin now, your ability to adjust and develop immunity to techniques or attacks or any kind of substance is amazing, it's really rapid, but you normally require, roughly speaking, about 1 minute to adapt to any type of technique. So it gives us a bit of insight into the abilities of Askin Naklava, and hopefully with this we've potentially found a weakness. So a little bit of insight into his ability, something to look forward to. Let's see how this will be exploited in the future. But that's point number 2. So point number 3 is by all accounts an extension of point number 2. And what happens is Monsieur Genius makes an analogy of the epidemic or the illness that is influenza, the flu, and he explains that although people develop immunities, it's a year-on-year kind of thing, where even if you develop immunity, a slight change in the strain, an adjustment in the strain, kind of means that you lose all that immunity. Doesn't really mean squat when the strain keeps changing. That's why people have flu jabs, and they get used to the strain because it keeps adjusting. It's a evolving type of illness, I guess, which is why people still catch the cold or the flu, basically. And the reason why this is important, because he makes the point that the reason why you're going to struggle adapting to this energy is because Yoruichi's Ryatsu changes with the mood, and this form changes her Ryatsu 48 times a second. So he's not going to be able to develop the immunity to absorb that because it changed so often. You know how he said he needs a minute? He's not got a minute, he's got barely a second to adjust. So that's point number 3. So point number 4, after taking a crazy attack from Yoruichi, Askin, it looks to have basically been defeated. We find out that the 5-minute time limit has pretty much been finished over, and Yoruichi, for all accounts, is down and out. What's important about this is this could have easily been dragged on, because we have in the past, like in One Piece, with the 10-minute time when Luffy was in Gear 4th, we got that dragged out so long. Oh, 9 minutes to go, 8 minutes to go, a minute to go, 60 seconds to go. And you could have easily seen this dragged out, but the Tite Kube is effectively kind of going straight through this. Pacing of these specific points are really fast, and we've already got to the ending of this 5 minutes. So the battle between Askin and Yoruichi, that 5-minute period, we're already past it, and Askin is down and out. Now, point number 5, with Yoruichi out of commission, you see a conversation going on by our resident genius. I'm going to call him resident genius because he's just a genius. And basically he kind of talks about the poison that's inside you. I'm going to get it out of you, and don't worry about it. Now he gets interrupted by the biggest poison ball attack, we've ever seen. And this reintroduces the rebirth of Askin Naklava. And he goes, my new form is called Hasien or Hasin. Now what's interesting with this is, remember all the elites were given the gift, the Schrift. I call it the gift. Same thing to me. And remember with X-axis, Lil Baruch, I think his name is, he would transform. This is this guy's transformation. The fact that he's had to be pushed this far indicates how much of a threat Yoruichi was to him. However, remember how OP Lil Baruch got? X-axis got? He started looking really stupid. That's kind of what's possibly going to happen now. However, this transformation looks kind of cool. It reminds me of a manhwa, South Korean, kind of webcomic that's out. It's called God of High School, where the main character effectively turns into the monkey Sung Kon, and he's got this kind of orb thing around his head, and it's kind of changed a little bit. That's pretty much what we get from Mr. Askin Naklava, and it's kind of like the introduction to Doom, because now that he's transformed, Yoruichi is out, she can't help no more. What's going to happen with our heroes? How is this battle going to move forward? We're going to have to wait and see. But that's my 5 interesting points that I found interesting from this chapter. Like always, please like if something you enjoyed in this chapter. Any comments, leave them in the section below. If you don't like it, dislike, again, leave it in the section below. And please, if you haven't already done so, please continue to show your support by subscribing, and you will get regular updates from me as I continue to review this series as well as many more.